Good morning, everyone, and welcome to CHW's webinar today. My name is Toby Rubin. I am the local CHW president in Vancouver, as well as a national officer. Both Tova Train, our national president, as well as Lisa Cote-Kotler could not be here today, so I have the pleasure of being your moderator. What is the brain gym? The brain gym is an important component of the psychological rehabilitation unit at Hadassah Hospital on Mount Scopus, and it can be located within the occupational therapy department. The brain gym uses personalized cognitive training to enhance memory, attention, and problem-solving skills. And therapists, as you will see in our video, work very closely with patients to ensure that these cognitive rehabilitation aligns with their physical and emotional needs and healing. This integration is cutting edge. It is using cutting edge technology mixed with the individual care to help enhance an overall mental health recovery for individuals. These individuals could be in the situation they are due to neurological challenges, it could be due to trauma, and of course, it could also be due to stress related disorders. Our guest speaker today is one of those therapists who works closely with the patient's journey. Idit Shemla has been an occupational therapist at Hadassah Medical Center since 2013. Throughout her career, she has specialized in rehabilitative occupational therapy in a multidisciplinary rehabilitation department. She treats patients with the neurological diagnosis, orthopedic diagnoses, as well as pain symptoms. Idit holds a bachelor's degree and a master's degree, both in occupational therapy. Since 2019, she has served as the Service Accessibility Coordinator at Hadassah Mount Scopus. She's led the initiatives to adapt therapeutic environments and promote accessible services and the formation of individuals with different disabilities. In addition, because she's not busy enough, she is also a lecturer at the Department of Occupational Therapy at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, and she teaches courses focused on the foundations of physical rehabilitation. While Idit is going to speak and show us some videos today, we ask if any of you have any questions to please put them in the chat. At the end, we have a lot of time for as many questions as we can to stay within the 1 hour time frame. So without further ado, it is my pleasure to introduce Idit.
Hello, good evening. Good morning, actually. Good afternoon for you. Good evening for me. So my name is Idit Shemla, and I'm an occupational therapist at the Hadassah Rehabilitation Center at Gendel Rehabilitation Center. First of all, I want to thank you all for joining and for being in this webinar and in this lecture. And actually, I want to thank you all for the support because now we have a big building to treat and to work with our patient. It's helped to quality of life of our patient, and actually, it's helped to quality of us, quality of life of us, of the team. So I want to apologize about my English. I have help, but I'm really, really exciting. I've never done things like that before. So nice to meet you. And today I will speak with you about the brain gym, about this beautiful place and the space for working on improve difficult and cognitive impairment. Over the last 2.5 years, our rehabilitation center has changed because of the war. We are seeing now more young patients with complex physical injuries that including shoot-gun wounds, limb injuries, traumatic brain injury, and so. And many of these patients were healthy and active and came for abundant life and a rich life. And their life really changed about the war, and they suddenly need to face with a major physical and emotional challenge. And this reality not just change the number of the young people that here in the Gendel Rehabilitation Center, also the intense rehabilitation because nearby the physical recovery, we are working we consider emotional adjustment, family support, creativity, and challenge to a young people. So it's really changed our life here, of course, in Israel and in the rehabilitation center. Toby, do you want it? I will explain what is occupational therapy or after that? Okay. So about my occupation, occupational therapy, I will say in the movie, you will hear it, that this is the best occupation that I can ever have. I really like my job and I believe at the value of my profession. And in occupational therapy, actually, we help people return to daily life after injury or illness. Okay, things that some people take for granted, like dressing and eating independently or writing or cooking. This is our difficulties. This is our patient difficulties. And most of our purpose, our focus in the goal from the real life. Also, rehabilitation can be long and difficult journey. It's also a place that there is an incredible resilience, determination, and human strength. And I'm really privileged to work in this and to be a part from this process. So thank you for being in today, and thank you for Canada Hadassah-WIZO for inviting me. And let's start.
Welcome to Occupational Therapy Department, the beautiful place all over the Rehabilitation Center, the Gendel Rehabilitation Center. This is an apartment in a hospital. It sounds maybe strange, but this is a place that we work with the people, with the patient about the daily activities that happen in the house. We are going to enter to supermarket simulator. You can buy everything. And this is, for example, an exercise that you need to remember 8 products and find it here in the supermarket. This is a cognitive treatment because it's working on remembering, on attention, on visual perception. This is a treatment hall. We have here in Gendel Rehabilitation Building 4 halls like this of occupational therapists working. Here we have the most latest technology. We have all the equipment, new and old, working with computer and working with the hands and the legs. And the most important things here at this room is this beautiful stuff of the occupational therapist. This is the brain gym. Let's enter the room. First of all, the name, the brain gym, is spark the imagination. People always ask, what can we do over here? What is this special room that this is a gym for the brain? What does it mean? Here in the brain gym, we are working to improve the cognitive disorder. What is cognitive disorder? Cognitive disorder can happen because of trauma or because of health condition like dementia. Trauma like shotgun, like stroke, like a vehicle accident, like a TBI, traumatic brain injury, and a chronic situation like dementia and even healthy aging. Here we're working on shopping. So I need to remember this list, okay? The mouthwash, the ketchup, and the frying pan. So if I want to look for the ketchup, for example, I search in the ketchup. I didn't find it. I will look at another department. Here is my ketchup. Now I will go and check this is the right things that I put. The last thing that I want to say, thank you for support. I'm working here for 13 years. We work in a very old building, and now this place, it's like home. It's help us all the staff to work very professional, very high technology, very new and latest technology, and everything help our patient to get back and return to life.
That's a fantastic video, Idit.
It's look like I like my job. Okay, so now we are going to introduce another video of our patient, Meir. He will introduce himself and the work that he done in the brain gym.
Okay.
Hey man, what's up?
Shalom,
Hello.
Manishma.
Beseder, how are you?
I'm doing pretty well. If the speed limit decreases, you have to slow down before you reach the sign. If the speed limit increases, you can accelerate after you reach the sign. I'm Mayor Feldman. I'm from Columbus, Ohio. I'm married. My wife's name is Talia or Tara, and for the last 13 years, we were rabbis in Great Neck. We had this vision for a long time that we wanted to make Aliyah, and we finally did. And on July 4th, I had a stroke. So when I got to Hadassah, I was not much more than this shell who I was trying to do my best.
Okay, this is the most important instruction of this exercise, okay? You have
Okay.
two situations that you need to pay attention and press the button
Right.
according to these instructions, okay?
Yes. Okay. The training starts when you press the faster button.
Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yes.
you need to press the button. Which button you need to press?
Staff here has been just so extraordinary. I really have felt that way. It's really important for me to be as committed to it and as serious about it as I can be. It's just so extraordinary how much I have changed, and I hope to continue building on this. I'm working on several, multiple things, one thing or another. How to just write, to write. That's mostly what I'm doing. And the writing is it's not so slow, actually. I mean, I'm getting it closer and better and better. And so there's a ton of work that I want to do. And I've done so much work that I have done, and I feel really grateful to that, to you guys.
In occupational therapy, we have two perspectives. One of them is the functional one. Functional occupational therapist, we're working on occupation, on job, professional. For example, if the patient comes from a background of working with computer or be a lecturer or teacher, this is a cognitive professional. And even in a complicated household like hosting or cooking for many people, we need our cognitive abilities.
Thank you. Thank you for Meir that exposed himself. He's very impressed man, and we're really proud at the process that he done. He released from the hospital this week, and we wish him very successful. We have a great time with him. Okay, so can you play the presentation, please? Thank you. So Brain Gym actually it's a special treatment space where we work on a cognitive difficult and cognitive rehabilitation. The name Brain Gym, it is spark the imagination because just as people go to the gym to strengthen the muscles, Brain Gym is a place where people can practice on their cognitive skills. It's very quiet. This is the Brain Gym. Ta-da! Okay, just a part of. I feel comfortable here. All the patient gone, of course. And the Brain Gym, it's a quiet and comfortable space. Most of the times there are not more than 6 people here casually. And if we have a special group, sometimes more people. And the patient can focus on cognitive activity. We do it especially with computer, but it's really important to understand that the occupational therapist is not just working on the training, he always connected to the function. So please the next slide. So function, this is a part of the function, and the main core is returning back to life, getting dressed, eating independently, working, okay? Because we want that the people will return back in life, and the research or support us. I will speak about it later. Okay, the next slide, please. Okay, so let's talk about cognitive impairment. A cognitive impairment means difficulties in thinking skills that help us to function everyday life, and it can happen from different reasons. Most of our patient here in the Gendel Rehabilitation Center are after injury or trauma like traumatic brain injury, stroke, gunshot injury, or car accident. Cognitive impairment can also happen in a medical condition that develop gradually over the time, such as dementia. Okay, and the last group, not here in the department, but there is a cognitive impairment that it's a part of the aging process, because when in the aging, even in a healthy aging, some cognitive skills like attention or memory become less efficient. So how does the brain injury affect cognition? So there are many type of cognition impairment. So I gave here in this slide example of two of them. So for example, if the damage is here on the frontal lobe, it can disrupt attention planning, decision making, and then it can have a difficult in managing daily activities. Okay, for example, if we have damage in the hippocampus is really inside the brain, inside all this picture. So damage in areas related to memory, such hippocampus, may affect the long-term memory and the ability to learn and process the new information. Okay, so always when we think about a cognitive, we try to understand what is the cognitive problem. It's not just the area of the brain, it's also the patient medical history, the information from the patient and for the family, and the clinical observation, because I'm an occupational therapist. So I want to observe and check and assess what I see in the clinic in functional areas like a supermarket and like driving, and also here working with computer on the brain gym. Okay, and the most important things, it's the patient personal goals, because he know the best what's important to him, what is his important role, and we want to bring him back in life, that he will feel that he has confidence and he can back to life with all the skills in front of the pain and the difficult. So the skills is very meaningful everyday activities and increase, and the main proposal is to increase the independent. So the next slide, please. So occupational therapy has two main perspectives. Okay, there are many, but this is the main of them. And the first one is focus on the function. This is the macro function. As I said before, I always think about going to the supermarket, okay, or lecture, or do something that help the patient in the real life. And the second is that identify and isolating specific cognitive breakdowns like a memory, like attention. Do you know that there is 6 kinds of memories and 5 kinds of attentions? So we need to understand, we need to assess and be sure what is the cognitive defect before we start work here in the brain gym, because when it's brain gym, it's just a computer training. I mean, it's very important, but to make the connection, we need to understand what is the connection between the defect and between the function. Okay, so most of the time we will work together with the patient and the family, because it's really important to remember that the rehabilitation is a complex and the rehabilitation is a collaborative process. And when we speak about the young soldiers, for example, it's different than aging, because most of the time they will arrive with their parents, and their parents are very concerned and they want to help and they want to work at home, and many information, and of course all the concern it's a part of the rehabilitation. So I want to bring an example for a soldier that has a shotgun on his head. So he's very attacked. He here for a long time. I think that he here 1.5 year, a long time. And we work with the family. So the family came every treatment, they look, they learning that they can work at home. So we can work on walking or supermarket or things like that. Sometimes he get enter to the kitchen, and in the kitchen, his most problematic is that he want to eat all the time. So he can make a mess, and we need to work on inhibition. We need to work with the soldier that he will clean himself, that he will not eat בפראות, he will not eat, Sharon, help me. That he will eat and clean himself. Wildly, thank you.
Sorry.
And the brain gym is another thing that we do with him. He, for example, playing the software, the demo software, Effectivate, and he really liked it. And this is the cognitive impairment that it's easy for him. It's easy for him to practice and training the memory and attention more than eating and keep himself clean. So we need always to pay attention to the two perspectives. Also the defect that he has problem in inhibition in behavior, and the function that we want him back to life. We want him walking. We want him connect with his friend and his family. And we want to work about the impairment, which is the impairment in the computer, like attention, like memory, like a split attention, and so like that, okay? So this is an example for looking on the two perspective in the story of the soldier. And I want to speak, the next slide, please. Okay, so this is the brain gym. Okay, so there is a quiet environment, as I said, and there is a method. So the method is actually the computer cognitive training. Okay, so before I will speak about the training, I want to speak a little about healthy aging and memory concern, because when we're discussing healthy and aging, it is important to remember that not every memory or attention change is a sign of dementia. Many older adults, they think that occasional they forgotness, they have a slower reaction, and they have difficulty in remembering information, like information they read in a book or so in the news. And this change are normal. This is a part of the normal aging. And research shows it's something really interesting about the normal aging, that sometimes people interrupt this difficult and they're afraid that it is a cognitive impairment or even a start of dementia. And it's not true, because people worry about the memory, and sometimes they will start to avoid activities that they think that because they think they have a cognitive damage, and they can avoid of learning a new technology or managing finance or participants in social activities because of their avoidance. They will not travel independently, and they will not take a part of hobbies that they liked. And this avoidance can reduce participation in the daily life and negatively affect quality of life. And there is some case that these beliefs about memory and the fear of cognition decline may have greater impact on daily function, even than actual memory difficulties. So it's very important to remember it if you like the demo or you try to work in the computer, that it's very important that you believe in your abilities. And if there is something concerned, of course, we can consult, we can ask the doctor, but the most important thing is it's the life, it's the participants in life. So I want to explain about the cognitive training and the healthy aging, and how cognitive rehabilitation can use here in the practice. So I want to take an example for the Effectivate cognitive training. The next slide, please. Okay, so first of all, about the computer training, the science says that our brain have a neuroplasticity. It's change when we act, when we learn, when we use our brain. There is a neuroplasticity in action that improve all the cognitive skills. So neuroplasticity is the brain fundamental ability to adapt, recognize, and build a new neural connection in response to stimuli. And the tool is the computer training, but it may happen in more ways, and also the computer training. So I want to bring an example in the computer training that you done in the demo. Okay, so I choose one of the software. There are many. I choose Effectivate that I really like them, and it's also in English. So it's one of the several cognitive training programs that available today, and there were some game. 5 of the game were cognitive game that work on attention or visual perception or spatial attention, and some of them are guidance. I mean, it's some guides, an explanation to get strategies. Strategies is a very main and important words when we work on cognitive skills, because when we train our strategy to success in some mission, there is a chance that we can make a transformation and use this strategy in the real life. So sometimes the computer game is not the main things. The strategies that we learn when we act, when we try, when we train, this the most important things. So during the demonstration, you, for example, make the Lost in Space game that work on the remember visual information that was in the screen. So I try to remember this stuff from the space. So I have some clue. I have a strategy, maybe to sort them from a color, maybe to sort them because it reminds me something. So this is a good example of strategy that I work and learn in according of the training. Okay, another example. There was the last game, if you play, called Faces on the Bus. Okay, so I stand nearby the bus. I observe all the bus, and I see many people pass, and I need to recognize some people that I memory before. Okay, I recognize face before, I learn how the people look, and then I recognize them when they pass on the bus. So it's something that's very connected to life. There are many people with cognitive disorders that forget the face of people, not face of the close family, but people from the community, people from neighborhood, maybe people from the past. And when we want to remember and recognize faces, we need a clue, we need a strategy. Okay, it may be the color of the head, or if you have hair on the face, or the color of the eyes, or even if the man that I saw, he remind me someone else. So before we train on the demo of the Effectivate, there is a guide that explains how can we recognize people, how can we use this strategy now at the training and in the real life after that. Okay. Okay, next. Okay, so I want to say that research are very, there is no one opinion about the successful of this computer games, because the evidence are highly mixed. There are many evidence that if you train one specific task, you will improve. For example, if I train of, for example, spatial attention or working memory, I can improve on this task, but it's not sure that it will be also in the real life. There are very little evidence that this training will improve consistently transfer. And the transfer is a big question, because here in occupational therapy, we want people back in life. We want the participant. We want the real world function. And the solution for this PAR
Gap.
Thank you. The solution for this gap, it is the treatment of occupational therapists, because after all I explained in this lecture, you understand that it is very important to mix, to make a bridge. So the next slide, please. Here is the bridge. Okay, this is the occupational therapy. It's bridging the gap, because when we're working on the difficult in the computer training and we mix it with the real world function, like going to the supermarket, like speaking and assessing, and to have our family with us working together, so the result is better for the patient, for the family. And this is the most important things I want to say about the occupational therapist: the importance of working together and to take both perspective to change life. So I think it's good time for question.
Okay, I have a question for you. So you're dealing with people that obviously already have issues, but for some of us, we're just reaching that age when we have brain fog. What are things we can do in our daily life to keep our cognitive memories working? Because as you said, you know, it's normal to lose it as you age, but what can we all do here?
Okay, so research, first of all, there are research that says that it is help. Also, the computer training, and also the working with occupational therapy. So I read one research that said that sometimes if you're working alone, sometimes you will not make the connection. You will not use for yourself, use and see, and you will not recognize for yourself the strategies. So there was even researchers that say that even if you have some place or clinic to working together in a group on this cognitive function, it may help. I mean, the מסגרת, the framework of working of cognitive computer, but it's not harm, and it may help because, as I say, if you work on specific task, it may help to the specific tasks that you work on. If I will work in my attention will improve. If I will work in the memory will improve. But if I need something more complex, something that look for the life, it's important that you will do it in a group or with someone that profession in.
Perfect. Okay. I have another one that I'm just curious about. In today's day and age, of course, Israel is, you know, seen in a negative way, but are there other you're cutting edge at Hadassah Medical Center. Are you sharing this information with other hospitals currently? Are you working with other groups? Are you in the forefront of this and on your own? How does, you know, what is your relationship like with
with
other
other
departments?
hospitals.
Yes.
Okay, so first of all, maybe I will speak about the hospital. First of all, the hospital of Israel. I will say it in Hebrew and then I will ask for translation, okay? בבית החולים בישראל כן נהיו המון כנסים וחומרים ייעודיים סביב המלחמה, כמו שהיה התעוררות מאוד גדולה אחרי התקופה של הקורונה, שפתאום נהיו המון כנסים והמון שיתוף במידע, אז כן קרה גם בישראל וגם בתומכים של ישראל, שנהיו יותר כנסים שהם ייעודיים לתחום. את רוצה רגע
Okay.
לצטרף לתרגם שרון?
So I'm going to go ahead and translate what Idit just shared with us. Similar to what happened following Corona, COVID, there were a lot of conferences and sharing of best practices since October 7th, because Israel has basically learned firsthand how to deal with such trauma. מה עוד את רצית להגיד, Idit?
I want to say that before the war, shotgun was not so common here. And the shotgun...
Gunshots.
Gunshots, סליחה.
That's okay.
Gunshots, תודה. אז גנשוט, למשל, יש עולם שלם רק של התמחות בגנשוט, כמו למשל טיפול בכוויות, טיפול בצלקות, כל הנושא של הטיפול בעצבים שנפגעים. אז זה גם עולם שמבחינה מחקרית התפתח. אוקיי, go on.
Okay. So similar to other fields in medicine, just like there are specialists in burns, gunshots was not an area that Israel had so much firsthand experience in up until the last 2.5 years. So something like gunshots has become an area that has been developed over the last 2.5 years. And how would you say, in terms of sharing knowledge, sharing best practices? How has that evolved in Israel? I think that's the question that Toby is asking as it relates to occupational therapy of neurological, whether it's injuries or ailments.
And I want to say, אני רוצה להגיד על הנושא הזה של הפצה, שעכשיו כבר יותר הגיע הזמן, חוץ מזה שבשנתיים הראשונות ישראל הייתה במצב של הישרדות, עכשיו זה זמן יותר לצאת איזה עם הכנסים.
Okay.
בהתחלה היה מאוד מאוד סוער, גם מבחינה אקדמית, אבל כיום אני יודעת שמרפאים בעיסוק בכנסים מציגים עבודות על מה שהם עשו בתקופה הזאת.
Okay.
לא שמעתי על מקרה שזה נחסם או נבלם מחוץ
Okay.
לישראל.
So Idit was sharing that, as she had previously shared, the last 2.5 years, it was the need to immediately respond to the medical needs of patients. Now, as of late, more and more Israeli occupational therapists and the like have been presenting their research and their findings in conferences, and she has not come across any situation where an Israeli has been turned away for the sheer reason that he or she is Israeli.
Excellent. That's very good.
We are health career. We are the health service. Most of the time are nice people.
That's fantastic. And I noticed that your sign in the video is both English, Hebrew, and Arabic. So I assume any Israeli can access your service, which I always think is important when I talk about CHW and the projects, that people remember Israel has more than just Jews living in it. And they have access to, whether you're a Christian or Muslim, have access to all your programs as well, which is fantastic. One of the other questions...
אני אוסיף גם על מה שאמרת, שאני גם מדברת ערבית, זאת אומרת, למדנו ערבית פה בבית החולים כדי שנוכל לתקשר עם כל I will say it in English. I also know to speak Arabic. It's Arabic of hospital. We think it's a special language because it's we are living in a complex place, and there are many people here, and everybody need to have their service and all the things here. Also the brain gym, for example, the Rehacom software, it's in many language, included Hebrew, English, Arabic, and so Sfaradit, French, everything.
Spanish and French and otherwise. And Idit had shared that she and other staff members underwent spoken Arabic training in medical terms. That's what she had referred to, in order to be able to treat all patients equally.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. I have a few questions here, but if anyone who is watching has questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. I have some here, but I'm happy to share any questions you have. One question that someone had asked prior was, can brain training exercise improve focus and concentration at any age? You are seeing people from young soldiers all the way up to seniors, and their success rates are equal amongst the ages?
תתרגמי לי שרון, שאני אהיה בטוחה שהבנתי.
הם שואלים אם הגיל הוא משחק פקטור. למשל, אם את רואה שיש חייל שהוא צעיר, האם הוא יכול להשתפר יותר מהר בגלל הגיל? האם הגיל הוא משחק פקטור בשיפור, ב-rehabilitation של ה-neurologics?
For successful of working on cognitive disorder, it's not just the age. It is many reasons. There can be people in the age older that can success even more than a young soldier. It's not just the place of the area of the damage in the brain. It's also the motivation. It's also the connection with the team and the staff, that they feel comfortable here in the hospital. And it's important to say here, because of your support, that now they feel pretty quite comfortable than before. They don't have a nice condition before. They were 4 or 5 people at the room, very small room, very crowded, very dirty. And here, all the room, 2 people with a balcony sometimes, and with a big window to the world. And it is changing because it helps to the motivation. And it's not, the age is just one of the ingredients, but there are so many. It's the damage, it's the family, it's the learning process. I mean, if someone learned good and he came for educate and the good nutrition, good education and good nutrition, it may help because the environment is a part of the rehabilitation.
Okay. One question was, what can I do when my mind freezes during stressful problem-solving situations?
So that's something that I mentioned before about fear that we have about changing in our condition. First of all, if there is a problem and the family also said that something changed, of course it's important to check. But sometimes it may happen where there is, for example, a mental fatigue. If I will explain, mental fatigue, for example, is feeling of cognitive exhausted, where tasks and then that normally require are with a little effort, and people feel for themselves that it's not like it was before. And this is a difficult. It may happen in the evening, but I think that freezing like that, it also can be cause of stress or something that you cannot explain, but it can be one of the mental fatigue ways, and people find it harder to concentrate or remember information. So I think it's very, first of all, this is a neurological condition, but it's important to work because most of the damage, it's in a working memory and attention, the frontal lobe function. And when we work on this thing, first of all, when we have awareness for difficult in a working memory or attention, the awareness is a big part of the way. But so if we work on this condition, it may help. But the most important thing, don't get worried. You don't need to feel that something happened. And the most important indicator, as I said before, it's the real life.
One other question was, what strategies can help support memory after a dementia diagnosis, or like an Alzheimer's type of diagnosis? You get it, you're not totally forgetting everything, but now you've got to face this is coming. What can people do? Because we don't have you here in Canada.
Okay. So most of the time there are two groups of strategies: internal strategies and external strategies. Externals, this is the environment. I think that we are modern people. I have Google and Microsoft that that manage my life. I cannot handle without my calendar, without the mailbox, without this task notebook, or if it can be task on calendar or notebooks. This is an external strategies. And first of all, I will explain what is external, and then I will answer about the dementia. Okay? So everybody to manage their life use these strategies. Okay? When we go into, for example, to the supermarket, we have a list. If we will try to remember, there is a big chance that we will forget. It helps us. But there is also internal strategies. And this one of the strategies that we work here in occupational therapy. For example, if I want to remember the face, as I explained before, I know that I want to remember the name and the face. So I make a clue for myself, and I have an internal strategies how to remember this man. Maybe I met him before, maybe he remind me someone. So there are many. I think that if I think very quick, I think about 10 strategies, just internal. The first letter of the things that I need to remember, the environment to imagine these things that I will not forget. Dementia is something else. what I said before is included all the population. Also, you and me use these internal and external strategies to remember and to manage our life. But in dementia, it's something else because it became worse. Dementia, it can be 10 years. Okay, 10 years, not easy years, and it's become and going worse and midarder.
Declines.
Declines, and the main strategies in dementia is the environment. If we keep the environment קבועה, if we keep the
Constant.
constant, so there is a chance that he will be involved in the life more than someone, for example, that pass to בית אבות, to דיור סיעודי.
To a retirement home or to a assisted living home.
אני אגיד את זה רגע בעברית. הנושא הזה של התאמת הסביבה הביתית, שזה גם התאמת המטלה וגם התאמת הסביבה, הוא קריטי ביכולת של אדם עם דימנציה לתפקד. אם הדברים האלה משתנים, כמו שקורה למשל כשאנשים עוברים דירה, זה ממש יכול להתיש ולפרק את המערכת המוחית.
Okay, I hope I covered this correctly. Idit was sharing that there's two critical factors in treating someone with dementia. When you're talking about moving them into an assisted living facility, it's the environment and it's the tasks you said, Idit?
Yes, the task changing and the environment changing.
And the environment
for the people with dementia.
Right. Martha, did I miss something?
I said that the support of the family is also something that's very important in the rehabilitation people with cognitive disorder like dementia, because the family know the best what help to the patient emotionally. Okay, it can be emotion, צורך נפשי, emotion needs, and the physic needs, and the strategies. What is the cognitive that will help him? For example, there are people that in the frigidaire, on the kitchen, they have list, and the list is enough for function, for be involved in the life and participants. But this is on the middle part of the dementia. In the end stage, it's really difficult.
Another question that was asked was, what approaches can help with managing fibromyalgia pain?
Okay, so I really like this subject because I learned about pain syndrome. First of all, fibromyalgia is just one pain syndrome. There are many here in the rehabilitation. Here in Israel, fibromyalgia, most of the time they will be in the community health service, not here in the hospital, but we have a complex pain syndrome here that can very improve and change your life, but it is a difficult process. And I think that in pain syndrome, it also, I explained before about the frontal lobe. When you think and feel all the day, you think, you have thoughts about the pain, about suffering, about the difficult, it can attack the attention and the working memory, because people are not concentrating. They concentrate and focus just on the pain. So this will be our process here. First of all, to make a psychoeducation guidance, to explain it that the changing in the memory or attention are going by side the pain syndrome, and it's true. It is affect and it is pain and it is take the life and change them, and they cannot be involved because the pain affect the brain, and the brain cannot involve in life in a situation like that. So most of the time we'll do a psychoeducation. And like I said before, it's a two perspective. We're working on the function with the cognitive skills. So it's the same. And I want to say that it's also in post-trauma PTSD, post-trauma syndrome, that also common with the soldiers. It's different pain than a trauma. It's different stuff. They sometimes connect, but it also cannot be connect. But the trauma, it's the same. When you all the day you think about the trauma and you have מחשבות חודרניות.
Non-stop thoughts, not non-stop. What's the word?
Non-stop thoughts about what happened, about the damage, about the occasion, about the trauma. It's really effect on the attention and the memory, and you need a treatment. And I think that the bridge of the occupational therapy also can help in this that situation.
One question we got was, do the memory games that are pop-ups, on your computer, they'll pop up and they'll say, if you play this, it'll improve your memory. Are they actually really helpful?
So I think that I show it in the presentation that the researchers said that it's help in the specific task. If I will work on attention, there is a chance that the attention will improve. But when I want to connect it to the life, for example, if I feel that I don't concentrate enough when I'm reading or watching TV or listening for a podcast, what we will do here in occupational therapy, and it's happened here in this room, we are listening to the podcast and write and learn strategies to be focused on the podcast. It always come together. So I think that it's different in a normal aging, a healthy aging, as in here with our patient. And I think that this perspective, I hope it may help everyone to always to make the connection between the practice and the real life, and to try to find the strategies that help you in the training to the real life. הסברתי את עצמי?
Yes.
את רוצה להרחיב, שרון?
I don't think.
אם זה...
No, you were good.
Okay. One other question for you is, what role, if any, does physical activity play in cognitive repair or cognitive maintenance? Just, so we don't get to that point where we need extra help. Do you do any research with the physical activity aspect of it?
כלומר, אני רק רוצה להבין שהבנתי, זה האם אני משלבת בטיפול קוגניטיבי פיזיקל אקטיביטי? זו הייתה השאלה?
לא, היא שואלת מה התפקיד של ספורט, התעמלות?
של physical therapist.
No, physical activity. If somebody is going to the gym and working out and taking care of themselves physically, does that have an impact on maintaining healthy neurological functions? הבנתי את זה?
תדייקי לי שוב, סליחה.
אוקיי. השאלה זה, האם ספורט או התעמלות משפיע על הבריאות של ה-neurological
I need to check in the research. I guess it is, but I don't know enough about this stuff. I'm sorry. I know that sport and nutrition and education and getting involved in cognitive mission or task may help, but I don't have enough information. The researchers, we need to search.
Should let you know too, in case you can't see some of the questions, there are quite a few comments of people finding it interesting and thanking you for the work and the research you do. So I would be remiss if I did not pass that on to you. I think that what you've said has been very fascinating. I want to give a shout out also to Sharon Stern, who's our representative in Israel. Thank you for being our translator. I know it's hard when English is not your first language, but you're doing amazing, Idit, and we really, really appreciate it. I think you're in there, Sharon, waving to all of us from Israel, which is
I want to see the people. My family came also, so if they will open the camera, I will be happy to see the people that listen to us.
That's right. So, and we have recorded this, so there are people that were not able to make this webinar, but of course they will be able to see the video after, which is fantastic. As I mentioned in the beginning, and as Idit has mentioned, the Brain Gym is part of the Psychological Rehabilitation Unit at Hadassah Hospital, Mount Scopus. This is located in various departments of the Gandel Rehabilitation Center, which is a name many of our supporters have heard as we've been actively raising funds for various parts of the Gandil Rehabilitation Center. This year for our annual campaign, we are once again supporting it. So if you've not made your donation yet, please visit our website at www.chw.ca. I want to thank Idit for coming. I know it's been a long day for you as well, for me on the West Coast, you're 10 hours different from me. So it is evening for you and Sharon. And I do appreciate everyone taking their time today to be here with us. As I said, we will send a recording out of this event, and we hope that you will share it and learn from it. And Idit, Toda Rabah for all you do. We're happy that we can help you with our funds, but it takes people like you to do the research, and I hope that you will continue to keep that up. And on behalf of Tova and Lisa, who are unable to be here today, I want to wish all of you a fantastic day. Toda Rabah.
תודה רבה.